Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to another week of the GBA Doubles. This week we are battling against John, aka Arrested Gaming, aka the owner of the Toronto Tyrantrums. I'm actually just going to double check here just to make sure. I decided, I know last week I said I was going to do, basically it was going to be, words are escaping me, but I will get them in 3 seconds. We're going to do them live, and the only reason I didn't do it live last week was because I had it was in a spot where I really couldn't do it live and stuff like that. But judging by how long this battle took and judging how long the last battle took, I'm gonna say that these are gonna be post commentary. I think it might be interesting to watch it post-commentary, and that's just my thought. And I was right, he is the Toronto, oh my goodness gracious, Toronto Tyrantrums, alright? I don't know if I said it in the first episode, but we are the New Orleans Shuckles. Oh yeah. So, I'm gonna hit play and we're gonna get started. Actually, before I do hit play, I just want to say, like, everyone knows each other's teams ahead of time. We all went through draft. We all know the teams. And I believe Magnitude said this once, or maybe it was Shady Penguin, or maybe it was Moody. It could have been either of those three because I watch all three of them for their GBA stuff. They were speaking about their own GBA stuff, and they're just like, it's not really cheating, it's not really counter-teaming, it's just bringing the best players to the game. So that's what I did. There was actually a few things that I didn't know what to do with. I didn't know what to do with his Porygon Z. I was gonna say, like, okay, but this is available to the public. I didn't know what to do with his Porygon Z, but he didn't bring a Porygon Z, so it didn't really affect me. So, so I brought, the best 6 that I had for this job. I knew we were going to be playing a Weather War. He had the Ninetales, he has the Mega Houndoom. I knew he was going to be wanting that Sun Up, and I knew I was going to want my Sand Up. But I also brought double Trick Rumors because I was just like, his team may not be the fastest thing, but my team is much slower than his, and I'm still going to need to get in and get out real quick like. So, I needed to bring Trick Room. So I'm going to hit play right here. We're going to, start this and have some fun with this. So I was looking at his team, and I figured my best bet was Aromatisse, because nothing other than his Ninetales really wants to take it, and my Tyranitar. I figured if he brought out the Sun, I'm definitely going to get my Sand Up first, and stuff like that. So he brings in his Macho Man and his Noivern, and I'm thinking, alright, he's going to close combat my Tyranitar. There's no doubt about it, but I was like, he could also fake me out. So I was like, alright, I'm going to go for the Double Protect. I don't run Protect on my Aromatisse, so I was like, well, I'm not really too worried about what his team's going to do to me. I mean, I'm immune to one stab, resistant to the other. So I'm like, whatever, and I'm pretty defensively bulky. He gets a crit, which is pretty cool to see that was just a crit. So I get my Trick Room off, because I was like, I know I'm going to bring things in, I'm going to want to, be able to take hits. So I'm like, alright, he's probably going to go for like a close combat against my Tyranitar. I could probably survive it if I Mega, but just in case he brings in his Ninetales on me, like with the battle with Magnitude, I want to be able to Mega Evolve to get rid of the Sun, in case he's like, oh, I'm going to go for Solar Beam, So I bring in Sableye on the predicted fighting move, and I go for the Moonblast against his Noivern. Now, unfortunately, he switches out. I was debating going for the Hitmontop, but I didn't really perceive it as too much as a threat, so whatever. So I have my Trick Room up, I go for Moonblast, awesome. It's not going to do a heck of a lot of damage, because, I mean, it is Ninetales. And he does go for the high jump kick, which is something I didn't even know Hitmontop got, but that actually worked out very well in my favor. Now, looking at his HP, you can tell he's kind of... It would take 3 high jump kick misses for him to eventually die. So here I wasn't really sure what to do. I was debating whether or not to go for a Will-O-Wisp, but I'm like, he's gonna kind of probably predict that and bring in his Houndoom, so I go for a knockoff just to do damage against the Ninetales. I go for the Moonblast against his Scooby-Doo, and it does a pretty respectable damage. He goes for the Heat Wave, and I was like, oh, well, there goes Goblin. But no, and that right there was what helped me out in later rounds. Knowing that it did that much damage, I was like, well, well, we'll get to it, but basically, I was like, alright, well, he's 2 fire types, so I'm going to bring my fire type and my water ground type. He switches out Houndoom. I'm not entirely sure why he went for that, but what are you going to do? So he brings in his Hitmontop over that, and that's still a pretty good switch for me. I don't really care. So right here is actually a point where the damage on my Sableye, who is not very specially bulky at all, was very important. Now I knew that he's going to go for Solar Beam against my Gastrodon. But I carry Rindoberry, and judging by the damage, I knew I was going to be able to survive this. So here's where things were weird. He switches out his Hitmontop. I was going to go for the Psychic move, and I go for Toxic. I could have gone for Muddy Water, but the Toxic actually comes in super handy later on in the match, and you'll see. So I go for the Psyshock. I don't really know why I carry Psyshock over Psychic. I just do. That's just one of the things I do. It's weird. Sometimes there's no rhyme or reason for a move. I guess it's people bring in physical walls on the Delphox and stuff like that. So whatever. And here is a point where I'm not really sure what to do. I'm not entirely sure. Trick Room goes out. He goes for Boom Burst, and I'm like, oh, that's gonna hurt me. And it really doesn't. I think he predicted it to kill both of my guys. I was actually foddering off Gastrodon at this point. I think kind of predicted he was going to do Solar Beam, but I didn't have anything that really wanted to switch into Solar Beam. So I just went for the recovery because I knew he was going to die, but he didn't die, so it actually ended up being pretty beneficial for me. His Ninetales doesn't kill anything, and his Noivern goes down. So here I'm thinking, alright, well, it depends on what he brings in. He brings in Houndoom, and I actually kind of totally forgot that it was Dark-type. I was like, alright, well, I'm going to go for the Mystical Fire. I can't do it on the Houndoom, obviously. I mean, it might Mega Evolve, but I don't know. But I'm going to go on the Ninetales. It's not going to do a lot of damage, but it will lower the special attack. So later on, it's not going to do very much, and it's going to be forced to switch. But I kind of totally forgot about the Dark Pulse. So that was my complete mess up. And then obviously he's going to go for Solar Beam, and I'm not going to be able to tank that at all. So my Gastrodon's going to go down, and now I'm kind of in a pretty bad spot. Not horrible, it's very easy to come back from this, but it's not a good spot to be in. So I'm like, alright, well now what I'm going to do? Well, the Houndoom's going down slowly. I kind of expected the Ninetales to die right there, but it was by 1. So I'm like, alright, I got this. Hariyama, has nothing on me. And Tyranitar. Sun is gone, Sand is in, so that's great. Alright. Now, he's probably going to switch in his Hitmontop. But I'm like, well, doesn't matter. I'm still going to get damage off. So he goes for the Intimidate, which sucks, but you'll see it really doesn't matter. And he withdraws both. Obviously, his Ninetales would have died if he stayed in. His Ninetales really didn't have anything for me. And here, this is the typical set for Dragon Dance Tyranitar, except I have a little bit of a variant. Since I run this on a Trick Room team, why are you Dragon Dancing? So I go for Curse, and that actually is a pretty beneficial move for me to have. So here I'm not like entirely sure what's going to happen, so I go for the Close Combat, hoping maybe the Houndoom would have stayed in. It doesn't, but it does bring the Hitmontop down to a respectable spot. Now I'm kind of figuring, okay, this Hitmontop's probably going to attack my Tyranitar. It's probably not going to go for High Jump Kick, knowing that I still have the... Do I still have the Sableye? I don't remember. I think I still do, actually. So I go for the Protect. I'm just hoping he attacks my Tyranitar with anything, really. He goes for Quick Guard, which is, I'm like, alright, cool, I don't really have anything quick to hit you with. I actually did chose Hariyama for Bullet Punch, but I ended up not really using it. So he goes for Earthquake, killing the Hitmontop in the process and not doing anything to me. I guess he was expecting to hurt my Tyranitar, but even with the Curse up and the EVs I have, it probably wouldn't have done enough. I just go for the Close Combat right to his face, and that's a one-shot. Like, I don't even care. That was a one-shot. Hariyama's kind of like a support sort of kind of thing. It's there to take some hits, not all of them, but dish out a lot of pain with that Flame Orb. But obviously in the sand, it goes down really fast. someone suggested Toxic Orb. I'm like, why would I run Toxic Orb? It'd be dead even quicker, you know. So he brings in his Ninetales and Donphan, and I'm like, oh, well, what am I going to do here? Well, I obviously don't really want to keep my my Tyranitar in. I'm like, I don't really think there's anything I can do with my Tyranitar here. I could have gone for the Rock Slide, but that Solar Beam, you know, even though the damage output against the Sableye wasn't very good, I kind of figured, whatever. And I just left in Hariyama there, because I didn't really expect the Ice Shard, so I went for the close combat anyway. But, whatever. So, he brings in his Houndoom, and I brought in my Aromatisse because I figured that was the best switch-in I had. I get a crucial Will-O-Wisp off on the Donphan. Without that, I think I might have lost, and that's just kind of the way I predicted it. He goes for the Ice Shard, does, like, nothing. Piss poor damage. He goes for the Sludge Bomb. I'm like, Sludge Bomb? What? That is so bizarre. I did not see that coming. Why he didn't use that in the first round, I don't know. Oh, he wasn't out in the beginning. Okay, that's right. I forgot about that. So, I didn't see the Sludge Bomb coming at all. I'm like, well, now I'm kind of screwed. You know, I only have Tyranitar, I only have Sableye, and I only have, I want to say... You know, I think these are my last two, actually. These are definitely my last two. So I'm like, it's pretty much game over here. I figured the Ninetales would probably destroy me, and then this Dark Pulse does that much damage, and I'm like, oh my god. But he goes for the Earthquake, and I'm like, okay, Sableye's down, so I have to... What? It's not down! What is going on? So then I'm thinking, oh god, but then the sun's gonna come in, and I don't have the sand to back me up. And I was like, but wait, it could barely do any damage to my Sableye. It was barely a 3-hit KO. Wait a second. I don't have to worry about this Ninetales. And that's where I realized, you know what? I have a damn good chance here. So I go for Recover my Sableye because I don't want to take another Earthquake, you know? I don't want to take an Earthquake and a Solar Beam. He goes for Ice Shard. I was like, oh, that's fine, whatever. He goes for the Goblin. But he goes for the Solar Beam. I'm like, this is going to hurt, but I'm going to tank it, right? Right? I'm gonna tank it. It's probably a 2-hit KO, right? No, that's like a 3 to 4 hit KO. And I'm thinking, what is going on? So now I use Crunch, and that does like 30 to 40%. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? I only run 12 attack EVs. What is going on? You know? So the Ninetales goes down, and I'm like, well, damn, I think I just won. Because his Donphan can't do much to me. I go for the Protect because I'm like, well, he can't do much to me, so I'm just going to kind of stall him out one turn to guarantee that at least my Sableye will live another turn, you know, because this Earthquake isn't going to, you know, take me out or anything. And as you can see from the damage here, it's not going to take me out. That's like a 4-hit KO, 5-hit KO at best, you know, or worse, 4-hit KO at best. So I go for a knockoff Crunch combo, and that takes him out, and that was the battle. And I was just like, wow. You know, those last 2 turns just completely shocked me. You know, I really expected, even though the Heat Wave in the sun didn't do a lot to my Sableye, you gotta consider that it's not super effective, and it's a spread move, so the damage isn't a lot. But, and on the other hand, you know, like, Solar Beam's super effective. It's not stab, but it's super effective. And it's like 120 base power. So I'm like, I should be able to not really... I could... My thought process was, I can survive at least 1. Right? All I need to do is survive 1, and then the Ninetales will go down to its own poison, you know? So I pretty much at that point, I was just like, that's great, you know? So that was the battle I had with him. It was really down to the wire. I was personally the most nervous about his Hitmontop. My team is kind of weak to fighting. I was considering bringing my Sigilyph, but, looking at his team, it wasn't really the best choice. You know, it didn't really see me needing it, and I'm kind of glad I didn't bring it, and that I brought Sableye instead, because they kind of have the same roles in a sort of way. Sigilyph is really the black sheep of my group. He's just kind of thrown in there because I kind of want to use him. And I can't use him on the same team as Delphox because, just Delphox because it gives me a huge Dark Ghost weakness. But it's interesting. I really like this team a lot. Part of me really wishes Gastrodon was VGC legal because I would use this team in VGC prep and stuff like that. Because this team is pretty solid in my opinion. I was going for Sandroom when I was doing the draft, and I was gonna use Mega Garchomp, and then someone took it, and I was like, well, what do I do then? Mega Tyranitar. Let's try that out for size. We'll beat out the Weather Wars, especially against, Mega Charizard. And since we're slow, we don't have to worry about, Rain, who I think Link's Theory seems to be running Rain on his team, or some sort of version of Rain. And clearly he's running Sun. So we have the three. Well, there's no hail. There is no hail that I see offhand. I just really like spinning in this chair. It's kind of fun. But next week we get to battle X-Ray's Ovation, the Denver Murkrow. So we'll look forward to that. I'm looking at his team right now. Not really sure what to expect from him. I'm really dreading facing a Togetic. I'll have to bring my Shuckle for that, just for that Togetic, so we can get revenge. Because if you remember, we had a battle on this channel. It was a 40-minute battle, man. It was Shuckle versus Togetic. It was like 36 to 40 turns. Both of them stayed in the entire match. Not a single one of them died, and I forfeited because I was just like, I can't take this anymore. This is too much. I honestly think I could have won out in the end. I had plenty of PP left, but I was just like, if I won again, then the team's going to come back, and then I'm going to have to battle it again, and it's going to be another 40 minutes, and I'm like, I can't do this. I can't do this. You're good. Okay, man, you're good. I'll give you the battle. But I come better prepared for this Togetic now. And looking at his team does take advantage of my Trick Room. So I'll have to be wary about him using my Trick Room for his advantage. He stole my Chandelure. I was going to use Chandelure over Delphox, but I'm kind of liking Delphox anyway. Delphox is pretty cool. But yeah, we'll figure things out when that comes around. So guys, thank you so much for watching. These will be weekly, and that's all I got for you guys today. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you at the next video. Peace.